Welcome to the 52 Love Podcast, your show for 52 lessons in 52 weeks. Before we dive in, remember you can find the audio version of this episode, along with the rest of the series, on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Anchor, and Radio Public. And now, here's your host, Ms. Tonya Todd.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another episode of the 52 Love Podcast. I'm your host, Tonya Todd. The 52 Love began as a blog series where I would offer weekly intimacy tips on how to improve your relationship. And the 52 Love Podcast explores each of those tips with a new guest. This week, my guest is going to discuss getting toasty with her partner. Julia, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what you do?
Sure. I'm Julia Allen. I am an author and an editor. I do author coaching services as well, but I write as J.K. Allen. So I like to write primarily young adult urban fantasy. So we were talking earlier, I do a lot of the fade to black kind of writing when it comes to steamy stuff. I write very clean, but that's maybe because I'm a little shy.
So being shy, did you have any difficulty applying this week's tip to your relationship?
I think that initially when I was thinking about it, I was very self-conscious because it had the great tip of like baking for a loved one and then having a nice, like doing nice things for them, like warming up a towel for the shower and stuff. And I was just like, I am not a baker. And so I was like texting you frantically, like, give me your baking tips, because the last time I tried to bake, it was like an epic disaster. I started, of course, with gluten-free bread, which is like one of the hardest things to make.
Right,
and
yeah.
I just like, it did not come out well. So I was like super nervous, but I also was like, this is a way to show my partner like how special they are, because I've never baked brownies for anyone ever in my life, right? I've never baked for anyone ever. So I was like, you're the first person I ever made brownies for. And they like just had this smile on their face. Yeah, I think they got the significance of the gesture because of that.
Very cool.
So it was a really great tip for me personally. Yeah. Like stretching the comfort zone a little and really showing them how special they were.
And that is the whole point of the series, is to expand your comfort level just a little bit, not trying to push you into anything that will really, upset you or make you truly uncomfortable, but maybe just stretch what you contain within that comfort level just a little bit.
Right. Yeah, I really love that about your tips, because like my goal is always to be like the best me I can with my partner, and like to bring out the best in each other. And so it was just like, the best me maybe does bake brownies and at least tries to, right?
Right.
So I was like really uncomfortable with it. And I told him like, I'm really nervous about your surprise, because I was like, he works on Valentine's Day. He works nights. So it's very hard for us to like do anything special for the actual Valentine's Day. So we're also kind of a long distance relationship. I live like an hour and a half away. So I'll come and spend a couple weeks with him. But like, so I was like, okay, the first day we have together, we'll make that our special day instead of doing like a Valentine's Day thing. So I was like, I'm going to just like kind of pamper you all day, and we're going to do like nice things and warm showers and sharing a blanket and all this, fun stuff. And so it was really nice to just like answer the door and be like, I made you brownies. Like I never make brownies for anyone, and I made you brownies. And like I said, they had like a big smile on their face.
And so this tip is really particular for the chilly months. It's heating up your loved one on a chilly day. How cold does it get where you are?
I believe right now, or at least last night, it got down to like 7 degrees. And that's without
pretty
the wind
cold.
chill. Yeah. So yeah, we're in Michigan, so it does get pretty chilly up here. And so it was really nice to be like, we're just going to have a special day together where, I was applying the tip to like just making him feel special all day, and kind of like treating them by like waiting on them, and like, let me get that for you, and let me like do dinner for you, take care of that. And so it was like really nice to apply like the warmth to his feelings as
Yeah.
well, and not just like, let's warm things up, So I wanted it to be
But
like
did
really
you heat things
special.
up?
We did.
So
We
win all
did.
around, right?
Yeah, it was a really, really, really nice, lovely day that we had. And like I said, uh the thing about long distance relationships is you kind of feel like you can't have those rough patches, because if you have like a day where you're both a little grumpy, or you're just like your mood is off and you're just like, oh, this wasn't a good trip, this wasn't a good experience, like what does that mean? Because you don't have the every day where you're just in a routine, and you realize like, no, we're still allowed to have those days and the relationship is still good.
Right.
So it's a balance of like making the time special, but also like not having too high of expectations, because you are going to have those days where you're just like, I'm grumpy and I don't feel like doing anything, we're
Right,
just
and you
going to
don't
sit
need
on
the
the
pressure of
couch.
perfection, right?
Right. Yeah, perfection. I'm a huge perfectionist. So I'm definitely like, I have to be the perfect girlfriend, the perfect everything all the time. And so it's really nice when you have a special day and then you're just like, oh, I can be normal the rest of the time. Like, not that every day isn't special, but just like, the special day went well. And like, now we can just be like, we can just be human, right? We can just be
Right.
people.
Do you have a preference for cold weather or warm weather?
I am a really picky person. I don't like either. But the nice thing about cold weather is the snuggling. I will say that. I loved getting under the blanket and just like cuddling and
Yeah,
seeing where that went. So that's the nice thing about like cold weather, is you can be like, oh, I just need to snuggle with you because it's so cold. So I'm a very like, touch is definitely one of my love languages. So I'm very much like, I'll just like put a hand on him and be like, I'm just snuggling you through my hand. Like, I just need to touch you.
yeah,
And so, like I said, the colder weather is nice, because in the hot weather, you may not want to cuddle as much, but like cold weather, you're just like, oh, let me like get
right.
under the
So you
covers
were
with you.
offering acts of service, and in return, you received some physical touch.
Yes, yes, it was very nice. We are very lucky that we kind of have the same types of love languages. So it works really well, because I know some couples can get into like feeling unappreciated a little bit
Right.
more because they have such different love languages. So they're like, I don't feel affection in the way that I need to receive it. And then that leads to conflict. And we're both very, very compatible, that we're just like, I'm just gonna like sit on your lap for like 5 minutes and like absorb your affection for a
Let me
minute, and then you can
get
go
some
about your
first love.
day. Yeah, yeah. So
We
that's
actually
really.
cover the love languages later in the series
Oh, nice.
because
Yeah.
people should learn them, There are people who go
Yeah.
years thinking that they are unloved, and it's just, "No, you don't understand." You just it's a communication barrier. It's not that you're
Right.
unloved, you're just
Right.
not receiving it because you don't understand it.
Yeah. Yeah. My family is definitely non-touchers. So yeah, I come here and I'm like, just absorb the affection. So
So I
that's
imagine
really
right now
nice.
you must be feeling deprived because of all the lockdown and the separation of everyone.
It is really hard. I'm kind of like, I hate the phrase extroverted introvert, but I kind of am like that ambivert, where it's like I do need to recharge after social things, but I also like need the social events to charge in a different way. So it's like, for me, not being able to see my really close friends, and not being able to do like family Christmas and stuff was really
Yeah.
hard, because I was like, oh, I'm dying for just like interaction with people. So yeah, it's been nice, because like I have the inconvenience, but also the blessing to be a part of two households. So it's like my partner and I, and sometimes we social distance gather with his family,
Mhm.
um, in a safe way with like masks and distance,
Right.
or we're outside. And then I have my family at home, so I wear a mask when I go home and do like the quarantining safety protocols. But it's like, it's nice because I'm blessed to be a part of these 2 bubbles. But it's also like, oh, the bubbles, I need to wear a mask all day. But I'm happy to do it, to keep, everyone safe and protected, and,
Right. It's worth it
um,
because you love them.
of course. Yeah. And it's my way of showing how much I care. Cause sometimes my mom's like, do you really need the mask? And I'm like, Mom, you have an autoimmune disorder. Yes, I need the mask, so.
And if you don't, it's better to be careful than
Mhm.
to, not protect that person when they did
Right.
need it.
Right. Right. And I was talking to someone about this. I think in different cultures too, it's very different. Like the American culture is very like individualistic in the fact that we think of like ourselves as individuals rather than a part of a larger community. Whereas in some different cultures, it's more of a community minded thought.
Mhm.
So for me, it's a no-brainer, like, that if I can show that I care about other people and if it protects them and, it can inconvenience me a little bit, but I'll do it to protect other people, of course.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I
It's like,
can't say I enjoy it.
no, especially like I have asthma, so like what I've been doing is the surgical mask with a cloth mask over it. It's a little easier to breathe than a KN95.
Oh, okay.
So that's how I do it when I go to the store, because we do have some of the more contagious strands here in Michigan now. So
Ooh.
we're being extra careful in my household. Like I said, we've got some high risk individuals. But yeah, it's just like uh I just always like think of other people like, not the golden rule, but the platinum rule. Like I treat others how they want to be treated, not just how I want to be treated. So I try to respect other people, like to the extent of like, I'm going to, mask up for your safety as well as mine, because,
Right.
I respect, that they might need that protection at home. We don't know if they have someone sick at home, and
Right, yeah. You can't tell by
yeah.
looking at someone how susceptible they are.
Right, right. And that's something that I've learned. The asthma is kind of a new condition for me. So I've been coming to terms with accepting my own limitations, and with exercise and everything like that, it's gotten progressively worse. So it's just like looking at me, you wouldn't know that, I'm diabetic and I have asthma. And,
Right.
so
It's not a
I
sign you
definitely.
wear.
Right, right. So it's like, oh, I can definitely understand, like looking at someone else, like you don't know what their story is or what they're struggling with at home. So it's like, it never hurts to be kind and
Right.
considerate.
So
So
speaking of kindness, I do want to know, did you serve the brownies warm?
I did. So it was a little bit of a hardness. So maybe I didn't. Did I bake them the night before or did I bake them right before he came? I'm sorry, my brain is.
It's okay, it was a few
I
weeks
always say
ago.
I have Swiss cheese brain because like everything seems to fall through the holes. But no, I know you sent me that wonderful recipe, but my sister was like, since this is your first time, maybe like from scratch is not the best idea. So I splurged and I got the Ghirardelli brownies because that's my sister's favorite type. And I know it's like a little fancier.
Yeah,
But I
Ghirardelli,
love the
you can't
Hershey
go wrong
brownies,
with
but
them.
I'm going to make the Hershey brownie recipe next time because I think my sister's made them before and they're really good. But I made the Ghirardelli brownies and I portioned them up kind of oddly because I'm diabetic. So I do little tiny pieces of brownie and
Okay.
then I had big pieces for him. So we put them in bags to keep them moist, like in Ziploc bags. And then I greeted him at the door and I was just like, brownies. And I was like, this is what I was so nervous about. Cause he's like, why would you be nervous about like seeing me tomorrow? And I was like, thinking, the brownies could explode in my oven or they could be like bricks or, there's so much that could go wrong. I'm the kind of girl that when I was in school and we had to do like a biology or chemistry lab in middle school, I'd get like the opposite reaction because I'd like somehow measure things wrong or something would happen and like I'd calculate my margin of error and it'd be like 15% when it's supposed to be like 2%.
And
And
baking
so
is in fact a science.
baking is a science. That's why I'm definitely much more into cooking. It's more like an art. But I was like I said, I was like, let's just step out of our comfort zone and do something to show my partner that they're special, right? So made the brownies and they like we try to eat really healthy, so we have a cheat day on Saturday. So Saturday was our cheat day. So I'm like, here's your cheat. And we had a couple beers and I was like bringing them their drinks and like I said, just trying to like treat them special and like if they needed something or wanted something, I'd do it for them. So it was a really nice day.
Well, tell us about your work. You have an upcoming book, don't you?
I do. I am working on the second book of my second trilogy. So in my world, there's Angelborn, who are descendants of the angel Grace, and they protect humans from demonkind. So it starts out with the Angelborn series. So that's Angelborn, Heaven, Fire, and Demonkind. And it revolves around a character who didn't even know she was Angelborn. She thought her father had died when she was 2 or 3. And so it's this big shock that all of a sudden she gets a demon mark and it's like, what's going on? And gets like kind of pulled into this world she didn't know about. So it follows her and the risks that she faces. The second book is about a half Korean like me. So it's a little closer to my heart, but also a little bit more vulnerable. I'm sure you
Yeah.
you can understand writing a story that's like about yourself in other ways. It can be a little just more vulnerable. But I'm very excited because I'm going to be re-releasing the book. So I'm going through the editing process right now and seeing if like there's any changes that I want to make or if I want to add anything new. So these will be re-releases coming soon. So keep an eye out for them. But it's just a super exciting time for my writing because I'm writing a new book, but I'm also going through and like revamping the old books and doing new covers. And it's like just super, super fun and exciting. Yeah.
Do you have a release date yet?
I do not. I have a couple things that I'm working on. One of them is actually a Halloween book with my sister.
Ooh.
So this is very exciting. So we're going to do a compilation of short Halloween horror stories, which I don't do very often, but I have fun when I do them. So
Yeah, I'm here for it.
yeah, they're not all Halloween related, but they're all horror. And so Halloween's a good time for them to come out.
Yeah.
So we're kind of scrambling. I'm scrambling to do the re-releases and the Halloween story kind of at the same time because I like chaos in my life, apparently. So I don't have an exact
As a
release
former
date.
Fury, right?
Yeah. Chaos is kind of my thing. If you haven't noticed, my brain goes like all over the place, so I don't do things linearly. So I'm just like, yeah, projects. Let's do 10 projects at once and just see when they finish. But I'm very excited. We kind of, with the horror stories, we decided to do like, I wrote this kind of story, so she wrote a similar theme story. So we have a story about a witch and a story about a wearer, and then a story about like ghosts and possessions, and like so it'll be nice to get like 2 different stories about like that are themed the same but very different stories. So
Yeah, and
I'm
different
super excited
perspectives.
about that. Yeah.
Well, why don't you tell the audience where they can find more about you and how they can support you?
Sure. So, like I said, I write as J.K. Allen. I am on social media as Hijinks Writer, and you can find me at hijingswriter.com. That's my website. So,
And that's where you will share the development of all your projects?
yes, I need to be better at blogging, but yes, that's where all of the news comes out. So, I'll be doing a blog post soon about my re-releases, and I'll be updating everything on like when the books will be coming out and stuff. Like I said, it's just like so exciting, but it's also like a million things to do.
Right. Yeah, I
to
thought
take
I'm
care
going to
of
save
it.
so much time because I won't be blogging this year. Oh, but I'm podcasting.
Right. I know you have so many awesome projects going on right now.
I'm trying.
Yeah, you're succeeding too.
Well,
It's
thank
like
you for
wonderful to
being a part
see.
of this project because this
Yeah.
is my newest baby, and I'm trying to treat it very carefully, and so I'm picking the best guests, so I'm
Oh,
very
thank
excited that
you.
you're a part of it.
Thanks so much. Yeah, I love your blogs. Like I was saying off air, um, they're really great tips, and they're really like heartwarming and exciting at the same time. And so I kind of love that. You know, when you think about intimacy, it's not just physical intimacy, it's also
Right.
emotional intimacy. So I love that you write about both, you
I
know.
try to offer the right balance between tenderness and
Yeah.
titillation.
Yes, yes, and I love that. So I'm going to be definitely checking out more of your blog posts and trying out some more tips.
Good, I
So,
encourage you to do so. And,
yeah.
if you have any issues or if you want to share any of your comments, I'm here for that too.
Yes.
Thank you again for being on the show, and thank you
Thank you for
everyone
having
for
me.
tuning in again. If you like what you saw, please share and subscribe. And if you feel so inclined, I'd like to hear your comments, and, we'll see you next time. Until then, remember to treat love as a verb. Thank you very much.